Our region's business is sponsored by PNC Bank, solutions that help you achieve your goals in life. PNC, leading the way. And by Heffron Tillotson, a history of meticulous wealth management since 1948. Our region's business, innovation, transformation, momentum, improving our communities and driving technologies that will shape our region for generations. The collaboration that brings vitality, prosperity, and life to living. Stay with us for the coming half hour as we examine in depth our region's business. Now, here's your host, Bill Flanagan.
Today on Our Region's Business, Higher Ed and Business, a unique partnership. Plus, meet the urban guru and get an insider's guide to Pittsburgh. But first, 2008, a year for the history books, especially where travel and tourism was concerned. Last year, Visit Pittsburgh partnered with the Heinz History Center and the Allegheny Conference to organize Pittsburgh 250, the celebration of the 250th anniversary of the naming of Pittsburgh. And Joe McGrath is here with the results. He's president and CEO of Visit Pittsburgh. Welcome. Good to see you.
Glad to be here, Bill.
Yeah, well, and obviously a lot of uncertainty going forward, and we'll talk about that in a second, but really some pretty impressive performance last year for our region, especially in your industry.
We had a fabulous year. The numbers are just in. We're pleased to report that we were chosen by Moody's to be the #1 hotel investment destination in America, the place where people should be building hotels. We had Smith Travel, which is the Bible, if you will, for hotel occupancy, report that out of the 92 largest markets in America, we ranked #2 and one of only 6 cities that were in the black year over year for growth.
#2?
#2.
In the United States.
Yep.
I mean, all those fancy vacation resort destinations and everything else?
For growth, 2008 over 2007. Wow. We had a 2.5% growth, and only 6 cities had growth of any kind. And the #1 city was New Orleans, coming back from, obviously, the hurricane. So if you took out the natural disaster, we were really #1 in the country.
That's really remarkable. I mean, part of the advantage had to be the rest of the country was in recession all year, and we were still holding up. But what else is responsible for what happened?
Well, certainly you mentioned 250. 250 brought a lot of opportunities. We hosted a lot of reunions during the year. In fact, it was the second busiest year we've ever recorded for reunions, people coming back to join in the celebration of the anniversary. We had a great convention year. Some people keep harping on the white elephant of the convention center. It couldn't be further from the truth. We had the best year we've ever had at the center since it opened 5 years ago. It's beating projections. In fact, their own annual report says that 92% of the time last year they had a function in the building. So it's really perking along. So between the 250 and actually last summer's gas prices played to our advantage as well.
Well, you ran a pretty clever promotion too, right, around gas prices all summer long.
Well, we tried to. We had a partner with GetGo that really came to our aid, and people booking on our website were able to get gas cards. But we found that people wanted to get home and spend time with their friends and relatives, particularly with the 250, that our strategic location in America between Chicago and New York played in our hands as well. People could take shorter trips and yet get to the big city and the events. And the Cultural District had some fabulous events for the 250, and certainly, again, our hockey team in the spring made a difference, and the Steelers in the fall.
Yeah, it kind of all fell into place. I want to come back to the convention and conference business for just a second, because Visit Pittsburgh's really tried for a number of years to encourage those of us who live here to take some leadership and bring meetings and conferences and conventions to the region. That really seemed to fall into place last year.
It really did, and so we really are capitalizing on that and hosting more and more conventions from people in Pittsburgh inviting their groups, their professional groups, their social and religious groups as well.
Well, that's great. So going forward, that's a way people can continue to help support the cause, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. I think it should also help people to know that Watkins Research, another national group, has been doing surveys about every third year on destinations that are the sites for conventions. And we moved up in 1994. We were in the bottom quartile, down in the less desirable. We've moved up into the top quartile now with places like Orlando and Boston and New York as a place to meet for large groups. So we've had tremendous growth in the product and the receptiveness of the product, and that's really the appeal to citizens, is that they can show off their community to good advantage.
Wow. Well, and enormous momentum as we went through the year, and obviously pretty amazing results. But you know, yours is an organization that relies a lot on the state and on the taxpayers to help support the marketing on behalf of the whole region. This is one heck of a tough environment going forward into this year and into the next fiscal year.
We have our challenges, there's no doubt about it. We're really trying to think smart, trying to, again, do word of mouth, work with journalists and host them, try and bring customers in to see the product, because we just don't have the advertising dollars that we had last year that we normally would have. And we're down in Harrisburg regularly trying to remind the legislature that we're part of the solution, that while they're having tough times, we bring in millions and millions of tax dollars. In fact, the average family, the average household in Allegheny County has $560 of their tax bill really paid for by visitors. That if there was no visitors to Allegheny County, their tax bill would be $560 more. So it not only affects the restaurants and the hotels, it affects every citizen of Allegheny County.
Do you think, you know, if we were able to, in a position to continue to invest, probably not at last year's levels, but even close to it, that there's real opportunity out there for us still compared to what's going on elsewhere in the country?
There really is. There's also detriment. If we don't do it, conventions are booking. We have a convention on the books now for 2017. Wow. So if we drop the ball now, we'll be paying for it for years and years to come. But we're still resonating. The product, again, we just had 2 conventions in this week that exceeded the expectations. And the reason, again, is because we're viewed as a business destination, one that people can get down to business, but it also has the amenities for social activities. But we're a place where they do have great attendance for conventions. So that word is getting out, and we have a tremendous opportunity to move forward in that field.
All right. Well, let's hope we can maintain the momentum we built up last year. Joe McGrath from Visit Pittsburgh. Thanks so much.
Thanks again, Bill.
Yeah. And when we return, we'll get the inside scoop on Pittsburgh as a place to visit and to live from our very own urban guru. Stay with us.